ready, ladies? Time. It's time. Let's go time. Oops. All right, everyone. Welcome to Stretch and Sip. Thanks so much for joining me tonight. Today I have some sound bath music playing. You might hear quietly. I'll turn it up a little bit. Because our focus today is going to be listening and just being. So we're focusing on our prayer breath, breathing into our nose and out from our mouth first to ground ourselves here to our mats. Starting with just my pointer fingers, I'm going to gently massage here at my temples, because physically what we're focusing on today is our sinuses and stimulating drainage in our lymphatic system. Because it's that time of year, it is the fall, guys, so lots of friends could be facing some allergies, colds, or influenza. So tonight's all about stimulating our sinuses, especially in our face, through our ears and neck. So we're starting here at our temples. If you'd like, and you're dealing with some actual sinus issues, if you're dealing with inflammation through here, moving up from your eyebrows, between here and your unibrow, and then coming up through your brow bone, just gentle circle motions all the way up through your temple. And to go a step further, you can bring it down to your jaw. I've got a microphone in the way, but I bring it down to my cheekbone all the way until I meet my jaw. And you're going to tuck your finger just here behind your ear. You can feel how you've got kind of circle-shaped bone here around your ear. Gently pushing against that stimulates our lymphatic system, which plays a crucial role in removing toxins and waste products from the body. So doing this every day can not only relieve stress, but stimulate that lymphatic system and protect your immune system from dealing with any extra waste being stored, especially through our face. So from here, I'm going to put my feet out toward the front of my mat. You could start with both or just one side. I'll show you with both how I stretch, pressing here on either side of my ankle, continuing that acupressure just below each ankle. If you're able, feel free to bend your knees here, because we are just focusing on pressing either side of our ankle. So if you need to bend your knees to reach to that part of your body, feel free to do so. And here I'll share with you our verse of the evening. For this reason, since the day we heard it, we have not ceased praying for you and asking that you may be filled with the knowledge of God's will and all spiritual wisdom and understanding, so that you may walk worthy of the Lord, fully pleasing to Him, as you bear fruit in every good work and as you grow in the knowledge of God. From here, I'm going to bring one foot in to my center and gently push on the side of my foot, pushing those toes up toward my knee. And for this stretch, you're going to want to keep your leg as straight as possible without locking your knee. So if you're not able to push all the way to your foot, focus instead on pushing your hips, hinging at your hips, pushing your chest toward your knee. To feel that stretch through your full leg. I'm focusing first on my left leg. I'll hold that for a moment. And then hinge back up. Just switch to the right, nice and slow. Bringing that heel into my hips. And again, pushing those toes up toward my knee. Without locking the knee, I'm pressing my leg down toward my mat to feel a full extension through my whole right leg. My chest is pushing down toward my knee here. Good job, everyone. So in our verse tonight, we're focusing on how it's not always easy following God's path or listening to God and finding Him around us. But we can incorporate these tools that we're practicing, including stretching and breath work and acupressure, to help us find him where we're at. All right, as we inhale, let's come back up, again hinging at the hips and putting both knees down, about shoulder width apart, to come straight into our tabletop position. Here we're going to shake forward and back and side to side, just starting to twist that spine around from the hips, pushing up to the shoulders. Always moving bottom up here. And dispersing the weight between either palm and either knee, about shoulder width apart here, so that I can find my center and stop there. Just taking a breath at your center, into your nose, out from your mouth. Our gaze comes forward, we're looking up slightly, and you could push opposite limbs up one at a time. My left leg comes up and my right arm comes up. If you're finding it challenging to balance with both limbs up, you could practice just one arm or one leg at a time. Whatever's comfortable for you, so long as you're focusing on squeezing that belly button up toward your spine to find stability in your core here, finding your center. Good. Let's exhale those limbs back down. Again, shaking forward and back, side to side. Feeling some motion and flow through our spines again. Finding stability in our palms and knees, about shoulder width apart, before again stopping in our center. Good. And breathing in as we exhale, our gaze comes up, and we bring one limb up, or opposite, left and right, left arm and right leg. Finding that stability by pushing that belly button up toward your spine. Feeling free to relax and reset at any time. We'll hold this for one more breath, and then we'll exhale, releasing back down for one last shake, twisting our spine side to side, forward and back. Stopping in our center, ensuring that our shoulders are not passing our wrist here, so that we can take the tension off our wrist as we start to push our knees back, walking our tummies down one hip at a time toward our mats for a cobra pose. My gaze is up toward the front of my mat, and gently I'm pushing my chest up, squeezing at my lower back and my hips to focus on pulling up from my chest. My gaze is up toward the ceiling as I continue this stretch, keeping those hips in contact with my mat so that I'm not overcompensating with my lower back at all. Beautiful. You'll see my elbows are slightly bent here. That ensures that I'm not putting too much tension on my wrist. Focusing on those vulnerable areas. Pushing up from my heart, the center of my chest, before releasing back down to my mat with a big breath out. Good job. Now my hands are on either side of my shoulders, and I'm going to push from the balls of my feet and my forearms, almost as if I'm moving into a child's pose. I start to hinge at my hips, pushing up to my palms. I walk them back and push again from the balls of my feet up into a downward dog. Now this sequence is a little faster. We're going to pedal our feet side to side, pushing those hips up and heads down. Try to make your shoulders level with your knees here so that your head is melting down toward your mat. Straightening those legs is a good way to feel that full extension through your whole leg. And then from here, we're gonna walk right up into our forward fold toward our hands. Our feet come up, and I release my palms so that my head can melt down toward my mat, letting gravity do the work for me with a forward fold. Here you can sway or shake your upper body. Again, feeling that looseness through your spine, nice and slow. Good job. So we're gonna do that sequence one more time. It does move a little fast. Feel free to take your time, relax and reset at any time. We'll put our hands back down, palms back down toward your mat. One knee at a time. I walk my knees back. The same motion we practiced, bringing our hips down to meet our mat. Hands are either side of my shoulders, pushing up from my palms. My gaze is up toward the front of my mat for cobra pose. My hips stay in contact with my mat, but I'm focusing on my lower back and wrist, ensuring that my abs are doing the work here and that my glutes are holding me steady. We'll hold this for one more breath. As we exhale, we'll push our hips back toward our heels. Again, pushing to the balls of our feet, back to our palms for a downward dog, pedaling the feet, push those hips up and heads down. Straightening those legs to feel a full extension. And then walking the balls of our feet back up toward our hands, releasing back down for a forward fold, letting gravity pull our heads down toward our mat. Great job, guys. So as we hang here, we're reminding ourselves that our goal is to clear our sinuses, relieve any congestion. These simple stretches, especially this sequence, moving from cobra to downward dog to forward fold, it's a great way to relieve congestion by increasing blood flow, promoting mucus drainage, and improving breathing, of course. So we're continuing our breath here. And with your breath, I encourage you to incorporate your prayer breath. So that's when we're breathing in a word or a phrase that's personal to us at this time. Focusing in on what's on our mind, what are we thinking about, what are our needs. We breathe, let them flow through our thoughts, embracing meditation as we move through these movements. So tonight, a good personal prayer would be for clarity and renewal, fresh perspective and flow. Always continuing that breath as we stretch. Now, nice and slow from our hips, we're going to stack our spine one vertebrae at a time. Head's coming up nice and slow, taking big breaths as we open our chest, shake out at those shoulders. Good job. And nice and slow, our hands are here at our side. I'm going to shake them out to re-engage my upper body. As I bring my hands up to either side, my gaze follows my fingertips up toward the ceiling. Big breath here. As we push those hips in slightly, still engaging that core as we stand. My feet are about shoulder width apart. Feel free to, of course, pedal them from front to back, finding your balance from heel to toe. We'll hold this for one more breath. And then we'll exhale, both hands out and down. Now choose one side. I'm going to choose my right first. I'm going to look toward those fingertips and twist here through my waist, creating a crescent shape with just one side. Gazing up at those fingertips to focus on opening the right side of my upper body. Holding for one breath and then exhaling back to center. Good. Shaking it out here, shaking our shoulders, finding our center from heel to toe. And again, opposite side, left hand up. My gaze is facing there. Good. And I'm twisting the opposite side, opening up that left side now. So my body is twisting in a crescent shape toward the right. Good. Still keeping that sacrum slightly tucked, abdomen engaged here. We don't want to cause any tension through our lower back. Beautiful. We'll exhale back down, out and down. Again, shaking out those shoulders. Great job, everybody. So that we can ensure that our feet are about shoulder width apart. They're feeling stable and strong. Our upper body is engaged, of course, by slightly tucking that sacrum so that we can feel our abs engaged as we bend from our knees and hinge at our hips. So my knees are bending just over my toes, but not beyond. Good. For a chair pose, I could put my hands here at my hips, or I could put them up toward the ceiling, gazing up at my fingertips to help me balance. And what we're focusing on is our sacrum pushing back toward our heels, pushing down as if we're sitting in a chair. This is our chair pose. So I'll turn to the side so you could see how my feet are about shoulder width apart from heel to toe. I'm finding my balance. And then I'm pushing my knees toward my toes as I push my hips, good, toward my heels, as if I'm sitting in a chair. Excellent. And keeping those hands up is a great way to feel a full extension through your spine here. And as we stay here for just a moment, take a look. Ensure that your knees are not beyond your toes. We'll stay here for one more breath and then exhale back up. Beautiful. Go ahead and shake it out from heel to toe. Good job, everybody. Staying in the same position with our feet about shoulder width apart. We're going to again bend our knees, but this time we're going to allow our chest to melt down toward our mat, meeting our palms at the front of our mats here for a frog pose. And here we're going to balance our weight on the balls of our feet. So our palms and the balls of our feet are distributing our weight here so that we can push those hips back toward our heels. Opening those hips by pushing also at our elbows to open those knees. Feeling free to relax and reset at any time. If you're finding frog pose difficult, another option is to sit back fully and keep your feet out like this, kind of a modified happy baby. Keeping our hands holding either side of our ankle, again incorporating that acupressure by pushing on either side of our ankle. And again, imitating that same movement where I'm pushing my elbows into my knees, into either side of my inner thigh to push those knees out. Focusing on the movement of opening the hips. And that helps as well if you're finding any tension or pressure in your lower back. We'll demonstrate here again at the balls of my feet. Our frog pose. My gaze is toward the floor here. Help my chest fall right over, keeping that spine straight as I push my hips back toward my heels. Good, we're holding that for just a moment, and then as we exhale, our hips fall back, hands on either side of my hips to catch me so that I can walk both feet up to a comfortable position and move straight into my hip openers. Continuing that movement and flow through the hips here. We can open both at the same time. Falling to one side for a moment, finding any areas of tension or tightness in the hips, the base of our body. Good job. And so we're listening to our sound bath music tonight, taking things nice and slow, working through some simple sequences that engage the flow of our full body, because our focus is the power of noticing and seeing God, even through challenges, right? It's not always easy to be on that path. We can find challenges to our faith, moments of insecurity or vulnerability. We're meeting them with meditation and movement tonight. Incorporating these tools are an amazing way, not just to physically decrease inflammation or stress in the body, but mentally and emotionally to decrease our stress as well. Taking it nice and slow, we're stopping at our center and ensuring that our heels are about shoulder width apart. I'm going to push my hips up slightly and forearms to either side so that I can bring my lower body down nice and slow. My head faces up toward the ceiling. And here I can push slightly on my forearms and from my heel to my toe through the side of my foot, pushing up my hips into a modified bridge pose. So my hips are completely off my mat here, mimicking that same motion of engaging the glutes, squeezing through the lower back and abdomen. Beautiful bridge pose, guys. So this is a great one for congestion, especially through the sinuses. Anything where our head is lower than the rest of our body is really helpful in increasing drainage. So if you are facing some fall allergies or colds, this is a great one to hold. To make it easier for your body, you could always put your feet up onto a chair or a bed, keeping that head down on the floor so that our head is lower than the rest of our body. Great job. As you're holding this, ensure that you're pushing up from the hips, belly buttons toward the spine, knees about shoulder width apart. Our weight is from our heel through the side of our foot to our toe. Those simple reminders help us protect our posture so that we're not overcompensating with any more vulnerable areas of our body as we stretch. Beautiful, nice and slow. Let's bring our vertebrae back down one at a time through our mid-back, down to our hips, moving right into those hip openers now as we lay. Continuing that flow nice and slow to feel a gentle twist through the waist, down to the hips. Great job, everyone. We continue our breath. We're going to bring our knees up with an inhale toward our chest, bringing them as close or as far as comfortable for you, so long as your hips and the lower part of your back are still making contact with your mat. Still feeling how our abs, our belly button is pushing toward our spine. Our abs are engaged here. And to make that stretch a little deeper, we can push our knees toward our chest, toward our shoulders, making our body small and tight here. So as we hold our knees here, we can extend our arms up toward the top of our mats, almost as if we're doing an upside down child's pose. Opening our chest and shoulders up toward the ceiling, slightly pushing my chin up toward my fingertips. Making my upper body tall and long. The lower part of my body is tight, squeezing in toward my chest. Great job, everyone. And so from here, we're going to hold this same pose. You can bring your hands to either side of your hips here, or bring them toward the lower part of your thighs as you bring your feet up toward the ceiling. Toes together here. My big toes push together, my knees push together. My hands are supporting either side of my lower thigh. To deepen that stretch, you could bring them here to the backs of your knees and push slightly, bringing your knees again toward the chest, toes up toward the ceiling. And here I'm not focusing at all at keeping my legs straight, keeping my knees straight. I'm focusing instead on keeping my toes and knees touching. So both of my big toes are touching, locked together here. Great job. This is another great one because again, our head is lower than the rest of our body. So this is a great way to increase drainage of the sinuses and relieve congestion. Nice and slow, my toes come back down, keeping them still together as I push from the back of my knees one more time toward my chest before opening them and holding on to either side of my ankles. Again, pushing on to either side of my ankles with my hand, my thumb, my pointer, and middle finger, applying gentle pressure there as we move right into our happy baby pose. I could also push from my heel, moving my hands, weaving them through either side, through the inner part of my leg, and then pushing knees down to either side of my hips. Beautiful job. Hips are feeling open here. If you'd like, you could gently rock them side to side, rocking from one knee to another. Nice and slow, just letting our upper body melt into our mat and allowing our hips to fall to either side, encouraging openness and freedom to flow. Great job, everyone. Let's stop here at our center. Again, bring your knees back down to the chest before releasing them nice and slow, toes back down toward our mats. Dropping our feet down from heel to toe. They're about shoulder width apart again. And we can continue that flow, continue those hip openers, nice and gentle, side to side. Before finding our center And releasing the hands here to our stomach, feeling on our diaphragm here below our ribs, so that we can feel the fullness of our breath as we breathe into our nose, and sigh out from our mouths. Taking a moment to breathe. And if you're facing any congestion, a great breath to pair with this is a B breath. As we breathe out, we gently hum, making our tongues vibrate into our nose, and a buzz out as we sigh from our mouths, feeling that complete breath through our belly. And that B breath, that vibration, will actually create movement and flow of energy in the face and the sinuses. Again, increasing blood flow and drainage of congestion, relieving that congestion through your sinuses. So as you continue your breath, focus on those vibrations, even just from your breath as you sigh out. We feel the breath vibrating through our nasal cavities. As we feel that relief and movement of fluid, we could breathe just through the nose, practicing alternate nostril breathing. We could close one side with our pointer, breathing in and out through one nostril at a time. Another great exercise to encourage drainage of the sinuses. Still feeling that full breath through the diaphragm. We could breathe in, hold, and then release fully. Taking a rest and then repeating that full diaphragm breath. Dislodging our mucus and calming the nerve endings in our nasal cavities. From here, let's release the hands to either side and bring them out and up toward the tops of our mats, slightly pushing that chin up to open our chest and shoulders again. Good. And then releasing our legs one at a time. Make our body as long as we can by pointing our toes, stretching our fingertips. When we point our toes, we're pointing from our big toe. Imagining a string is pulling from your big toe and midfoot. And then we can bring our big toes back up toward our knees, pushing our heels out, and again releasing from the midfoot to push out our big toes, making our body as long as possible. Great job. Now feel free to release the hands back down. They go down towards our hips. We can face our palms toward the ceiling for a Savasana pose, completely relaxing the body here and focusing just on our breath. Great job, everyone. As we continue our breath, we incorporate that prayer breath, encouraging fresh perspectives and renewal emotionally and physically. Like prayer, our meditation is personal and powerful. It can change from day to day, but hopefully these tools can help you find a safe space any day, anytime, to connect, to listen to your body and to God, finding His works in each way. Stress can suppress our immune systems, so stretching and breathing in these ways protects our immune system against inflammation. So imagine that as you breathe, you exhale, releasing tension and inflammation in the body. Great job. As we continue our meditation, I'll come around with a spritz of our lavender spray. You can stay in Savasana position, and I'll help you out of that in just a moment. We'll come up nice and slow so I could share with you a spritz of our lavender. And some of our folks at home. We have some awesome opportunities coming up this evening. We're hosting our improv playground at 6 p.m. A space for us to be silly and play. We'll be hosting Wonder Workshop for our early elementary friends. We have a dinner for all of us to share from 6 to 6:30 on Sunday evenings. But before we head to those other programs, I'd love to share a sip with you. So let's start to wake up our bodies by bringing the feet up, bending at the knees, pedaling the feet from heel to toe, stretching out the fingertips. An option could be to bring them up again toward the top of our mats, re-engaging our upper body. Pushing the toes up to our midfoot, the balls of our feet. And starting to shake at our spines, waking up those hips, waking up our cores, making that motion a little wider as we choose a side to turn toward. My palm can help me push up, nice and slow, back to an easy seat, the same way we started, opening up the shoulders, chins up as we gently bring our pointers up toward our temples. I encourage you to close your eyes here as you continue those small circles here at your temples. And focus on the breath. Waking up the body slowly, especially focusing on those sinuses through the face. Again, an option here is to start the middle of the brows, pushing through the brow bone to the temples, down to your cheekbone, under the earlobes, and behind the ear, gently pushing on that area behind our earlobes. So as we start to wake up together, let's bring our hands here to our chest or wherever's comfortable for you. As we close in prayer together, silently you can uplift any areas of support you're wishing for tonight. Anything that you'd like us to pray together about or for. We're uplifting those thoughts now. And together we're praying. Dear God, thanks for being around us always, showing us the magical ways you can touch us in every moment in our lives, through both good and bad. Help us this week to stop and see you, to notice your love, and find our faith. Amen. Now we're going to release because tonight we have a special mocktail to share. So I'll go ahead and turn off our sound bath music and thank our friends for joining us from home tonight. So great as always to practice with you.